violence. 14,073 cases of domestic violence were reported to police as compared to 14,681. Thus a decrease of 4%. Breakings. There was a total of 13,511 cases of breakings reported in 2026, making a 2024, making a representation of 6.2% compared to 14,546 cases reported in 2023. Thus, a reduction of 7.1%. Economic crimes. Economic crimes were a total of 13,132 cases reported in police as compared to 12,000. You now note that we had a higher increase of economic crimes in 2024, about 1.6% increase in the crimes. The main reports, economic crimes, are contained in page 57. I want to go there because we want to break it down. It shall be our interest, definitely, to understand why the increase. Economic crimes include embezzlement, causing financial loss, abuse of office, counterfeiting, forgeries and uttering false documents, issuing of false checks, bank-related fraud and corporate frauds. These are crimes that are not provided for in our Police Form 1, but are provided for under the law. They include money laundering, obtaining by false pretenses, which is the highest in this category, obtaining money by false pretense, obtaining goods by false pretense, obtaining land titles by false pretense, cyber crimes, among others. So we see there was an increase in that. Threatening violence, closely attributed to land again. By the end of 2024, a total of 10,160 cases of threatening violence were reported to police countrywide, compared to 10,591 cases. Child-related offenses. 4.3% of the reported cases were as a result of child-related offenses, with 9,408 cases where children of juveniles were direct victims of crime. This may include child desertion, failure to provide, child trafficking, thus making 12.4% decrease in comparison with 10,741 cases reported in 2023. Robberies. Again, in the main report, robberies are contained in page 74. A total number of 8,163 cases of robberies were reported to police countrywide, compared to 7,772 cases, making an increase of about 5%. When you look at 74, robberies, it gives you a breakdown of the kind of robberies reported, and there is a comparison. You see an increase. These robberies are attributed to unemployment. People take the law into their hands to try and find a living. Moral issues or moral decadence, and drug abuse. You will see a number of cases, kickboxing, people robbing with knives, of people robbing during the day with machetes. Those are robberies. Malicious damage to property. A total of 7,992 cases of malicious damage to property were reported to police countrywide, compared to 8,043 cases reported in 2023, thus constituting 6% of the overall crime and 3% decrease. Homicides. Homicides are murders that are believed to have been caused with intent. A total of about 4,329 cases, representing about 1.9 cases of in total, reported in the year 2024. This was compared to 4,248 in 2023. That's an increase of about 1.9 cases of homicide reported countrywide. Homicide cases may include and not limited to cases of strangulation, strangulation being a kind of method of killing, always associated with domestic violence, cases of land, cases of stress, passion killings, people killing their loved ones. Then we had arson. A total of 1,604 cases of arson were reported to the police countrywide, compared to 1,792 cases reported in 2023, making a decrease of about 10%. Land-related cases. A total of 397 cases of land-related crimes were reported to police, compared to 271 cases reported in 2023. This makes an increase of 46%. Cases of land fraud related offenses include fraudulent acquisition of land titles, criminal trespass, fraudulent acquisition of obtaining registration by false pretense, forgery, among others. We did not have the big number of political-related offenses. We had a total of 105 cases as compared to 125 cases, giving a decrease of 16%. That is it from the statistics. Now, when you look at some of the specifics that I thought we could share with you are cases of suicide. Whereas the number did not increase, but together we should look into the cases of suicide. Of late, we have seen cases of children committing suicide, and a specific research should be done. What we now know is that some of these suicides are attributed to stress, mental illness, expectations, failure to meet obligations. Some people are in debt, and I think the only solution is suicide. We want to appeal to our people that suicide is not a solution. And I think we should work together with the press and our community to educate and engage our people. People should learn to speak out. I saw the RDC of Mbarara the other day confiscating national IDs from moneylenders. Speak out, because the state is there to protect you. Some people are in debt that is fraudulent. Then we have bank frauds and corporate offenses. We have Ponzi schemes, schemes where people are defrauding investors or lying about the existence of specific businesses. There is identity theft. There is insider trading in some banks. There is money laundering, the washing of dirty money. There are forgeries, and I thought to bring that to our attention because fighting crime is not just a police role. It's our duty, all of us as a people. One of the key challenges that we have in case management is witnesses not willing to cooperate with the police. Someone saw, someone heard, but for some reason, they don't want to support the investigations to the end. Now, that affects completion of inquiries and has a huge implication on the court's decision. We want to appeal to you, our people, that together we can fight crime if we cooperate, and you can give this information in confidence to allow the investigations to find properly the crime. We have issues of managing crimes related to sexual offenses, crimes like defilement, crimes like rape. In some communities, defilement appears to be normal. You find a case has been reported not for purposes of prosecution, but for purposes of engaging the family of the boy to either marry the girl or to get some money. Again, we want to appeal to you, our good people, that once a crime has been committed, a case of defilement has a huge implication on the life of that girl child. And therefore, our parents, brothers and sisters, we need to support the investigations to the end so that we have these persons punished and these victims protected. We have issues of managing crime generally because of numbers. I want to thank the Inspector General of Police for implementing the directive of the President. If we deploy in the sub-county policing model and we successfully support those police officers to manage crime at that level, we shall have reduced crimes. Because it means that in every sub-county, there are at least trained police officers to manage cases reported to police. As a directorate and as a force, we are working on strategies to, one, work with you to prevent crime, and two, work with you to manage the crimes that have already occurred. Some of them include and are not limited to community policy. We have the Directorate of CPC. We work together to engage, and we shall start going to schools and talking to these young people. These are different trends. These are different. The youth of today are not necessarily like the youth of yesterday. There is a lot of social media. There are a lot of friends. I usually tell the young people I meet, including my own children, that you have a lot of friends you have never met. And you find your child is engaged on the phone throughout the day. And then they get disappointed on the phone and sometimes probably commit suicide because of love that has been lost from a person you have never met. So we need to re-engage our children at school level and let them comprehend some of the things. We need to work with all the stakeholders, including you, the Fourth Estate. When you see crime, it is okay to report it, but it is also important that we manage it together. Get the evidence. Criminal investigations is about finding evidence sufficient enough to establish whether a crime has been committed and by who, so as to get that person punished. The intention of punishment is to reduce on future crime. So I know that if we work together, we can change that. We are working with crime intelligence organizations to ensure that we gather and prevent crime before it occurs, strengthening crime investigations through training of police officers on emerging crimes, We need to improve on the professional and ethical conduct of our police officers. Good people, who pays police officers? It is our prayer that you help us report corrupt police officers. Because if you don't report, it will be in rumors. But if you let us know in time, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations has an inspectorate unit that works together with the Professional Standards Unit to investigate cases of misconduct by police officers. Where you think a policeman has been compromised while managing a case, where you think the police officer is deliberately leaving evidence that you think can support a criminal case, please report. Because together again, we can fight misconduct. We need to support the directive of the President of implementing the sub-county policing model. As a directorate, we believe that the Inspector General's deployment of police officers at that level, if properly managed and they get the tools they need in those units, we shall surely see a crime going down. Strengthening forensic science. Some of the cases we deal with come after, more like an afterthought. But again, on cases of rape and defilement, victims are always tormented. Victims fear. They fear to report until they probably talk with someone who advises them to report. Now, for cases of that nature, there is critical evidence that you need to secure to prove the case in court. And so forensic science becomes very instrumental. So we are working together with the Directorate of Forensic Science, Forensic Services, and the Government Analytical Laboratory to see that we strengthen our investigations by also securing forensic evidence. And the unemployment, I think that is for us to see how to engage the youth and government to support the youth to manage, to find a way of living. You know, when we go to school, we all seem to think we shall finish school and this job is waiting for us. Then when you finish school, reality hits. And then you try to find other solutions. We appeal to our youth to find other methods of survival other than trying to steal. We appeal to the members of the public to help us work together. You are the witnesses we are looking for. You are the one who saw. You are the one who heard. Probably the person came and hid at your home. So we are appealing to you, people of Uganda, that together we can actually fight crime. I noticed from our report that we did not segregate for you data to include the age group. And when I'm talking, I keep mentioning the youth. In most of the cases, the youth are the main persons, and particularly male. If you look at the report, you will notice that for every crime, the highest, because we have segregated by gender, but you notice that the male are the highest the highest suspects or accused persons. In the next report, we shall ensure that we segregate data by age. I want to thank the Inspector General of Police for giving us an opportunity to give you this brief. Asante sana.
Thank you, Anne. We are going to entertain questions relevant to what has been talked about, and you will mention your name, where you're coming from, and whom you're directing the question to. In the room, we also have Commissioner of Police, Anatoli Moretera, representing the Director CPC. So you can direct your question to whoever you want. So we shall, directors, we shall have the questions, then the question is directed to you, you write it down, and then we answer once, like in the order we have used while addressing them.
Thank you, Pierre. I have two questions for the exercise and two questions for the exercise. The exercise number one. According to the report, corruption and economic cases increased from 12,924 to 13,132. The public wants to know corruption involves money. How much did these people who have stolen according to what happened in the report? You know how much taxpayers money is lost to these things. Secondly, we are seeing gun violence rate. In the report, 188 cases were reported, where 205 people were shot dead. Could you have recovered some of these guns? And among the suspects who are arrested and taken to court, we have secured the personnel. Thank you so much. Then, Director. According to the report, most accidents occur on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you have said speeding and vaccination. Are we seeing the green drive operation coming back from my norm away? Because by the time when you are still director, those operations were there. And some accidents, especially in case. Then, secondly, we have already seen police carry out operations and people are given to seats. How much did you get their express receipt? How many were issued and how much did you collect from the government? Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So I want to add something on the question.
Your name and where?
My name is Luwala. I see a lot of UBC. So apparently we talk about corruption and other economic cases. I would like to know how much did you recover in last year, and then how much did you return to government? That's enough. So if I go to Traffic Director, most of the causes of road crashes were behavioral, according to your report. I'd like to know some of the infrastructural causes of road crashes, which you identified. Then another is which steps you mentioned. I don't know whether they are recommendations or steps or someone's talked about infrastructure redesign. Is it your proposal or recommendation, or there are some arrangements which you have taken part as well? I think that's all. Another last one is about the recently approved or gazetted speed limit regulations. How better are they going to be implemented?
Questions? Are we done? Are we done with questions?
My name is Serena Dakuja. I work for NTC. This goes to the director of traffic. According to the report, most of the road crashes were behavioral, as my colleague said, and I wonder whether our motorists know the zebra crossing sign. The zebra crossing where we have to pedestrians pass. Because according to what I've seen or I've observed, borders do not even know that sign that lets pedestrians cross. So I just want to be enlightened about that. Then the other is about the rescue and fire. The other time you told us about the false information, that people call you and give you wrong information. I just wanted to know that before you go to the scenes, I thought you follow the policy that, for example, if fire has happened in such a place, you get information from the police post nearby. So how come you drive from the headquarters to the police, to the scene, without getting all that information? Because you say that it is costly, it takes a lot of money driving to the place where you give the wrong information.
We're having the last question here.
To the director, my name is Pastor. You mentioned that over 300 government vehicles with right of way were involved in road accidents. You'd like to know which vehicles were they from the office of the President, Prime Minister, State House, Home Minister?
So let's give an opportunity to the directors to answer the questions posed to them. We shall start with traffic again, in that order. Fund and Fund. Fund, if possible, since it's a Q&A, you can answer in English and then repeat for them in Uganda.
Thank you. The drink driving operations, it is true, drink drive operations can have a significant impact on road crashes. And as you take note, during COVID, those operations were suspended. And after COVID, we reinstated them. And because of the long period of time when our machines were not working, when we calibrated them, there was a reduction in the machines that we are now able to do the testing properly. And if we had a certain number, it reduced. So this is one of the reasons why you don't see consistency in drink driving. However, these machines cannot manage or cannot be spread in the whole country and realize an impact. We chose to concentrate in the KMP area and along the highways. And I wish to report that during December, we tested bus drivers and the lorry, truck, and the heavy commercial vehicle drivers, and this had an impact on the general reduction of those crashes during the festive season. And I think you can remember that during the last festive season, we didn't register many of those fatal crashes because among the tools we deployed were the breathalyzers. So it is true we can reduce the accidents by really so much sustaining, and I hope this year that improvement will be realized in sustaining and countrywide these operations. Two, the revenue collected from these offenses we give, I am on the enforcement side and I give tickets according to how the offense has been identified. And later, a reconciliation by our revenue department in the police force is done with URA. I wish to mention that that reconciliation, I have not captured it, but I think if I move on to the sister department, I can get the figures. But the reconciliation would give us the correct figure with URA. You note that we don't collect this money, and tomorrow you know how much you have collected. That one can't happen. The system reconciles with URA. Someone talked about the behavioral cause, because reckless and careless overtaking, speeding, these are behavior. But the moment we automate all our traffic enforcement systems, people will behave. I want to assure you that this process is ongoing. We have now CCTV cameras and number plate recognition cameras. And those number plate recognition cameras are doing a great job. Where they are fixed, we rarely have misbehavior, because the general public knows the camera is there. Now, we need to expand, and our move towards ITMS, Intelligent Monitoring System, will now make our work easy, and the behavior will improve, and we shall register less accidents. I wish to inform you that when you move in Kampala, there are many junctions that are being worked on, and once the traffic lights work and work intelligently, then we withdraw our manpower and concentrate on enforcement. These signaled junctions will do their work if the cameras installed there are intelligent, as the way we are moving into this automation. Then the structural causes. You see, once a road deteriorates and develops a pothole, or if it is a rainy season and wait for it, you are going to see landslides and sweeping our good infrastructure. Once that place has been swept, and maybe you come when you don't know that it rained a few hours, you are likely to have a crash, a motor crash there. And those ones have to be there with those natural calamities. We also have where the roads are narrow. You remember, this infrastructure dates back from the colonial days, when you had less than 100 vehicles. But here you have millions of vehicles. Now, some of these roads are still used, and they are narrow. And by that time, we did not have actress bends, where its diameter here is 9 feet, and a bus, Scania, 9 feet. So when they are passing each other, these side mirrors have to slap each other, and after slapping, to avoid slapping each other, those side mirrors, one vehicle encroaches on the pedestrian walkway, and finally a life can be lost. So we still have this infrastructure. And this is why I said, in the long run, because we are not going to improve this infrastructure today, in the long run, we are going to improve, the country is going to improve its road infrastructure. If you can get the statistics from Ministry of Works, you will know how the paved roads that we have in this country, you will see the growth, and be hopeful the infrastructure will improve. Then someone mentioned that it is related with these roads. Please, redesigning roads cannot end. Even where we have the best roads, in maybe Scandinavian countries, they are still redesigning these roads. Have you seen the redesign at Clock Tower? That should give you faith. Have you seen redesigning at Mulago Roundabout? Yes, that one should give you faith. The infrastructure is going to improve. It's going to improve, and hopefully the road crashes will also go down. The zebra crossing, I want to give you more information about now the zebra crossings, isn't it? Even where you have signposts telling you to behave in a certain manner, drivers don't do what the signpost tells you. You only want a police officer to be also deployed at the signpost. The stretch from Munyonyo up to Kajansi has good signages. But we must deploy a police officer with a speed gun to control your behavior. What is this behavior in Ugandan road users that they cannot regulate themselves? They need a physical police officer to be present in order to behave. We need to transit from that kind of enforcement to self-regulation. And who to do this? The media. Can you disseminate this information that this behavior is bad, and your impact may be felt? And I give these examples out. Even you people, you are road users, when you find such an offense, you can take a picture and send it to us. We look for this person. Collectively, we can handle road safety together. I want to assure you that a road speaks. The road talks. It speaks. It tells you, don't drive this speed. Meaning, you drive beyond that one, you will have a problem. It tells you children are crossing. It tells you there is a bend, warning you that there is a bend somewhere. It tells you this is a bus stop. It tells you cattle crossing. Isn't the road speaking? What is it that we road users, we cannot change our behavior? And do you want to assume that the amount of road safety education is less? If I gave you the statistics, you would not believe that we have carried out a number of sensitization, radio programs, and you people are the ones who host us. You know it. But the behavior is not changing. And because of this, we are engaging judiciary. Hear this. We are engaging judiciary to designate a specific magistrate to handle traffic offenses so that we see custodial sentences. These fines we give on the road do not change behavior. And therefore, we would like to have custodial punishments. And we are going to engage judiciary. Actual engagements already started. The moment we get magistrates designated to handle traffic offenses, then we shall deal with those characters that are impossible to change their behavior. Lastly, CBS. No, I made a general, because I made a general statistic, and it generalized. However, we can segregate that statistic and come to the exact point you want. The right of way, even private vehicles, isn't it, can drive on the right. I want to tell you that many times we've seen vehicles following vehicles with a right of way. Private vehicles follow the vehicles with a right of way. You have violated because you are not part of that group that have a right of way. Isn't it? The principle is passing, the convoy has moved, but you want also to move. And yet you cannot match the speed of those vehicles with the right of way. You are driving a Raum, you want to go with someone with a V8. Isn't it? Those vehicles, you know. So, the right of way, again, is true. Government vehicles have also violated. And I have the statistics on how many government vehicles have violated this right of way, and even those involved in crashes. But I also want to add another category on government vehicles. Diplomatic registered number plates or registered vehicles are increasingly violating traffic regulations and increasingly involved in fatal crashes. And when we try to get the culprits, they use the diplomatic immunity, and we sometimes don't bring them to justice. I appeal to Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get in touch with us and we address this issue. Diplomatic vehicles should not kill people here. And I would like to know much more whether that one is also diplomacy. So, Ministry of Foreign Affairs should get in touch with us and we see how to protect our Ugandans when some of these diplomats are being chauffeured on the roads. I want lastly to move and say, there are a lot of things we are doing. A lot of things we are doing. For example, the statistics we have, if you analyze properly, you will see the DMCs are reducing on our roads. These DMCs are reducing. There are many factors because the vehicle, the standards of the vehicles now that are allowed to come in the country, those standards are now improving, isn't it? There are vehicles you may not import. However, there are many vehicles, by that time that policy was made, there were vehicles that were already here. And so they are being driven here. Now, when you look at our statistics, you will discover that, the DMCs that we inspect, when you look at the numbers, you will see that we are reducing. You will see that we are reducing. They have reduced on the roads. But those ones now unfit to be on the road, they are increasing. Meaning that those vehicles that the police found them here, when we inspect, we declare them unfit and they do not come back on the road. And those are the scraps you see in Bwaise. So the vehicle standards in this country are improving. What we need to do is really to rekindle the motor vehicle mandatory inspection, and we shall clean all these unserious issues on the road, and we shall have a safer roads. Thank you very much. Where is my assistant? Yes, we will translate later. Please forgive me.
Thank you very much once more. First of all, I want to thank my sister who has raised that question of false hoax, false information to the police. When you are dealing with the fires and rescues, if you employ that method of as you asked that question, that why you not wait and use the territorial police to check. When you're dealing with the fires, you mind about time because it is concerning life and property. Any slight delay, the moment you delay to reach there, you will find that a person has lost life and the property is lost. But nevertheless, that could be the formula. That in the modern times, the nearest police would be the ones to respond first, then call. But we have hotlines in the police stations, like here in Kampala. The hotlines are in information room 99. Our human beings are not up to procedure when there is a problem. They immediately pick their phones and call 99 control system. Imagine we have not covered all the villages with the police stations. So if a call comes from a suburb in Budo, the nearest station there, police station is Sanji. Leave alone the one of Budo University. Most of the calls would have gone to Sanji police station. But our people tend to call the hotline here in 99 Kampala. And those are the ones who call the hotline of a fire brigade. Look at the jams we have in Kampala here. One is you don't move in and wait. International standards necessitate that for the response, fire teams must be 5 to 10 minutes. Now imagine a fire trucker from Kampala here responding to Budo. And we're interested in that timing and rescuing life and the property. So we tend to use the territorial police. You are aware that we don't have plots, we don't have street numbers, we don't have the roads which are named. So we tend to respond from the nearest fire station. So I will say that could be the best. But mind, we are in Africa here. We have not yet had those modern buildings, modern roads, whereby when they call you, just look at it using technology. We are not yet at that standard. But nevertheless, if we get false information, we investigate the fellows using technology. But it will take time. So the other day I was warning them, because it is a good practice that you warn those who intend to commit crimes. So the best could have been using the police station, but in our stations we may be having one motorcycle and one patrol car. It has responded somewhere. So by the time they reach there, the fire teams must be nearer. There's a lot of jam in this Kampala here. So our response to that is we want the members of the public not to give us false information, because this has been an offense. Give the police false information. You can be tried in the courts of law. And a few of them are being investigated for giving us false information. But in the public court, if you delay to reach there, the next morning, you are the very people who will report and say the police came late. Have you seen? So we tend to really move according to the situation at hand. But we are warning them, those who intend. And it is at night, by the way, at night here. It is very difficult to locate a place in these suburbs. Because, first of all, the chairman, LC1, who could have assisted us, may not be on air at that time. There are very few you may get at night. So you find the police finds it hard that they reach that place in time. So we're really warning them. They should not give us that information. And I thank you very much. Even me, before I put on this uniform, I used to ask such questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. When they said someone should speak Luganda, I don't know why PRO did not ask me. The question from Taremo of Spy Reports is on how much money in corruption cases was lost. The answer is 1,082,700,000. The figure is 1,082,000,000. There are some other figures I will share with you. Yes. I want to be clear on this. When you are dealing with cases of corruption, cases you are referring to, it is not just embezzlement of government funds. In the reporting line, the category means and includes corruption in government, corruption in private sector, and other cases of obtaining by false pretense. So that is a summation. If you want a segregated data, we shall share with you. Number 2 is gun violence. Did you recover guns? The answer is yes. The figures, again, I can share with you. And in terms of police officers involved in crime, the answer, not police officers, security officers. It means and includes police, UPDF, prisons, and private security. Am I correct? Yes, the answer is yes. The segregated data will also be shared with you. And my brother from UBC, my son, I think, from UBC asked about how much we recover versus how much we return to government. Now, I have indicated that I don't have segregated specific data of recoveries right now, but we can share with you. However, all funds that are recovered that relate to government go back to government. Sometimes before the case, sometimes after the conclusion of the case. The decision on when to give is given by the Director of Public Prosecutions, who prosecutes these cases. The monies that belong to individuals also go back to the individuals at the end of the investigations. I thank you very much, and
On the over 200 cases you registered last year, one would like to know whether you count cases that are only recorded in the station diary or those are transferred in the recorded book.
Cases that are reported in the police, the station diary is a counter book where you record all incidents at the police station. It can be, I have come to work, I have left work. I have gone to the field, I have come back to the field. So when you look at figures on a station diary, it is descriptive of activities at the police station. It means and includes cases reported. However, all cases reported that are criminal in nature are extracted from the station diary and registered in the crime report book, which is a CRB, and that is what we report. Otherwise, if you report SD, the numbers are not necessarily criminal cases reported. And criminal report book at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations are referred to as E-reference. A general inquiry is more also an SD. General inquiry checks it out. Someone has come and reported a case, so we want to check out whether there is crime. And as soon as the preliminaries indicate a crime, you enter it in an inquiry file that now facilitates criminal investigations for purposes of prosecution. I thank you very much, and we are looking forward to working with you. Singa manyi Uganda.
I was requested to interpret, but allow me also give this opportunity for the directors to take their leave, and also thank them for being with us. Asante sana. Kanana is delaying us, but you still need him? Well, we can go.
UBC